Need for Speed Payback, car list, Forza Motorsport 7, car list, specifically the omission of Toyota on both fronts. Newsflash, douchebags. So here we go again. Bourne is back on his BS again. Another opinion, another thought-provoking video designed to encourage you fine people to share your thoughts, discuss, debate and interact with each other on the topic at hand. And oh boy, I have a feeling you guys will not like what you're going to hear. You're not. Right, so a few weeks ago we learned that Forza Motorsport 7 will not be featuring any of the production-based Toyota models that we have become accustomed to. No AE86, no GT86, no Supra, none of them. When this was brought to the public, Forza got a lot of abuse. There were many of you who were angry and annoyed at what you believed to be a stupid decision from the guys at Turn 10. Now I know this because I have a video talking about what I'm most looking forward to about Forza Motorsport 7, which was put out before the news of no Toyota, and even on that video there are still comments coming through showing frustration at the game rather than the manufacturers for the no-show. Now more recently, as posted by the Pants Man Theo and the Bad Man Hippo and a few others, we now know that Need for Speed Payback will also not be featuring any Toyotas in the game, which has now started to turn attentions to Toyota as a manufacturer rather than these game development teams. I mean, why would two of the biggest car gaming franchises both release statements admitting to not having any Toyotas in their 2017 releases, a brand loved by many petrol and gearheads around the globe? Project Cars 2, to my knowledge, have not released anything on this. Now I could be wrong, if I am I apologise, but regardless all you have to do is look at their advertised car list for Project Cars 2 and you will notice a distinct Toyota shaped hole in the production cars section. So what the bloody heck is going on? There has to be a reason for this. Why are Toyota pulling out from the gaming market? I began researching this thing called the internet for answers, and on my voyage of discovery I stumbled across a piece of information. Now this was taken from a website called Kotaku.com by Brian Ashcroft, so allow me to share this with you guys. Stick with me. Car sales are down in Japan and young adults are less interested in automobiles. Instead of blaming that on grim economy or even good public transportation, Toyota has apparently found another culprit: video games. In a piece in the evening edition of Osaka's Mainichi newspaper, there's an editorial on the Date Car by journalist Mashiro Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi talks about how the slide in new car sales started in the 1990s and even connects the current decline in population to the car apathy that exists among young men. He says, guys used to work hard at their jobs so they could get a stylish, cool car for girls to ride in. Even more interesting than that connection is what Kawaguchi quotes a Toyota executive as saying, and I quote, "Home game machines are no good. Playing something that realistic makes the need for cars disappear." Really? Video games make the need from point A to point B just disappear. Next thing we know, video games will be blamed for violent crimes. Okay, right, so now I really didn't want to go into this kind of area because this is a gaming channel. It's all about cars and just more cars. But I really have to bring statistics here so that you guys fully understand the complete and utter rubbish excuse these people have come out with. So I dug deeper and had a look at Toyota's performances in terms of car sales across Europe and North America. Right, so starting off with the United States of America, North America, however you want to call it, you can see by the on-screen image that from 2011 onwards there has been a steady growth of the amount of cars that have been sold. 2011 we're at 1.39, 1.37, 1.8, 2 and 2.1 million cars sold as of 2016. Okay, now if we go down further and we go all the way back to 1996, we can see that that figure of 2.1 million cars sold is actually the highest they've had in the past 20 years, with steady growth year on year for the past 4 or 5 years. What are you talking about? If we switch over to Europe, what you'll also see is from 2013 onwards to 2016, again, steady growth, 509,000, 526, 526 again, and close to 600,000 in 2016. Now, admittedly, there has been quite a drop in terms of the year-on-year sales in comparison to what they're doing in America, but if you look at this next image that I'm showing you, year to date right now, you can clearly see Toyota all models 2017, the final column. If you look at January, they're tracking at 58,000. Compare that to January 2016, 48. 47 in 2015 and 47 in 2014. If you go across all of those boxes, I'm not going to read out all the numbers because you can see for yourself, you will see that month on month in 2017 they are on course for having the biggest year they have had in a long time. Again, growth. So as you can see, year on year the trend is pretty much upwards. So even if car sales are down in Japan, that absolutely has no reflection on what's going on outside of Japan. Are you forgetting that you sell your product globally? What kind of narrow-minded thinking is that? Now, I spoke to a few people about this and they say that market share is part of the other reason as to why Toyota are upset. So basically, even if they are selling more cars year on year, they are upset about rival manufacturers having their cars bought at a faster rate than Toyota's. Okay, but that's got nothing to do with gaming whatsoever, because if it was, then the whole car industry would be on a downturn, which it isn't. That's more so to do with you having a poor business strategy, a lazy design team, and losing touch with your core audience. Also, market share is for posturing purposes only and has very little to do with actual profitability, which is what most businesses with common sense are based on. Looking at the data, they have around 12% market share in the United States and 4% in Europe. Now, those numbers sound small, but that equates to millions of sales, as you saw. And also, Toyota is the biggest selling car manufacturer in the world. The only reason why the market share looks low is because there are hundreds of car manufacturers. Also, think about it. If there was only about 10 people on Earth and 5 of them bought Toyota branded models, then your market share is 50%. But would you be happy? No, of course you bloody well wouldn't, because money-wise you would have made hardly anything as you've sold only 5 cars. Listen, I'm going to change my name to the BOURNE Chef, because I can chop this up in so many different ways that you guys, Toyota, you guys are looking real bad right now. So the gaming industry is the reason why you feel your cars are not selling. Really? Okay, PS4 to date has sold around 60 million copies and Xbox One has around 30 million users. So let's say every single one of those 90 million console owners bought a racing game, which you and I know for a fact isn't the case, as people have differing preferences in their gaming tastes, and the racing genre sells far less units than the first-person shooter, MMORPG and sports categories. But let's just give Toyota a large benefit of the doubt and imagine that 90 million console owners translates into 90 million sales of racing titles. Now, Earth's population is 7.4 billion. Take 90 million off that figure as a percentage and you're left with just over 1%. Now, some of you will say, hold on, that 7.4 billion isn't taking into consideration the fact that the population is also made up of kids and teenagers who are under the legal wage requirement to drive a car. And guess what? You'll be absolutely right. But think about it. Of that 90 million, which we know was already a generously inflated figure, lots of those gaming purchases of games like The Crew, Need for Speed, Forza, Project Cars, Gran Turismo would have also been bought by parents for their kids in the exact same position, people who are not legally allowed to drive, thus not being ready to buy a car anytime soon anyway. Let me explain something. When I get enough money, I'm going to buy a Datsun 240Z, or the Fairlady 432 as it's also known. But guess what? I've never driven one, I've never sat in one, and I've never even seen one in the flesh. I learned about it from Need for Speed and then immediately fell in love with it. I used it on The Crew and will be using it in Payback and Project Cars 2 if it's available. I've watched movies on the car, even looked at how much it will cost and how many years I'll have to save up for one. I've gone from dreaming to researching to planning how to import and buy a car, all from first seeing it on a computer game or video game. The very thing that you said kills sales. Now here's the thing, majority of games don't even have fully simulated setups. Even some that claim to be simulation still use arcade elements in their handling, so to suggest people go for that over a real life experience is just pure garbage. BMW are debuting the new M5 in Payback. Porsche are debuting the new 911 in Forza Motorsport 7. Do you know why? Because they see the marketing opportunity and have seen it helps them advertise their cars, which leads to sales in the two most profitable regions, which is Europe and North America. Look, if you don't want your cars in games anymore, then that's your business, yeah? I don't even want an explanation because at this point I'm beyond caring, but all I'm going to say is this: do not use the gaming industry and us gamers as the excuse for your insane levels of blind idiocy, Toyota. And I mean that with absolutely no regrets whatsoever, please believe. Now, as you can imagine, I'm reporting this from a cave in an area you'll not find on a map, due to Toyota being a very rich company, and I don't want them to send the men in suits after me and subject me to death by 1,000 cuts or some sort of water torture. But nevertheless, as always guys, this rounds things off for another video. What are your thoughts on this? What are your opinions on this? What are your responses to what Toyota's views are in terms of video games somehow diminishing and cannibalizing their car sales? As always, let me know in the comments section. I am interested in knowing your response to this. Shouts out to every other YouTuber that has covered this, because I'm not the first, but I think I may be one of the first to have obviously brought this new information to light in relation to what Toyota are actually saying as their reasoning for this. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a BOURNE welcome. The like button, please hit it. The subscribe button, hit that as well, and also turn those notifications on so you know when the next episode is dropping. Now, I've done a shout out video recently celebrating 2,000 subscribers where I actually asked people to vote for what they want to be the game that I use as the prize for a giveaway that I'm doing. If you haven't voted, please go on to that video next, check it out and vote. Also, don't forget to check out the AutoBOURNE magazine for all your latest car reviews and head-to-head showdowns, more details on that at the end. And also don't forget to check out the playthrough that I've got for Need for Speed Underground 2 in the run up to Payback, as well as all the other opinion based videos I've got on the channel. All of that information will be in the description box. In the meantime, I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, peace. Do you like car reviews? Do you check out power tests? Are you a fan of head-to-head showdowns? How about having them all tied together in one convenient place? Welcome to the AutoBOURNE magazine, your one-stop shop for all of the above, presented on a weekly basis with quality content, clean-cut commentary and cars to suit everyone's pocket. What happened when the 370Z went up against the original 240? Was the American muscle car misunderstood by the British? Should you buy the brilliantly stupid John Cooper Works Mini? All questions and more will be answered as part of the AutoBOURNE magazine. Check it out now.